Well, the debuts of Barbie and Oppenheimer didn't disappoint at the box office. Barbie is not only the biggest movie of the year so far, it also had the best opening weekend of any film directed by a woman. However, some fans who wanted to see Oppenheimer in IMAX had to scramble to get tickets, and some in Toronto and Vaughan ended up disappointed due to technical issues. Well, for more on this, we are joined live by film critic Richard Grouse. Richard, always great to speak with you. Let's talk about this massive weekend. You know, even according to AMC CEO Adam Aron, he says this was the busiest weekend in 4 years, not only in the U.S., but in Europe as well. Talk about the significance and the impact of these two feature films this weekend.
Well, it's great to have audiences back in theaters. Now, we've seen it when Top Gun packed theaters, and we've seen the odd burst of real activity at movie theaters. Super Mario Brothers really packed them in as well. But it's been kind of hit and miss, and I think what we're seeing here with Barbie and Oppenheimer, two films that aren't sequels, that aren't have or that don't have numbers in their titles, really packing people into the theaters suggests that people have an appetite to see something that they haven't seen before. Now, of course, everyone knows who Barbie is, so there was a bit of a leg up there, but this movie is new, it's fresh, it's smart, it is unexpected in its delivery of the story, and it led to just an incredible weekend. That's the fourth biggest overall weekend in box office history. I mean, this is a remarkable feat for two movies that were called Barbenheimer. You did the Barbenheimer. You went out and tried to do double features if you could get tickets for both. And that kind of excitement level is something we just haven't seen in theaters for some time. And I love that it was organic. This wasn't a marketing strategy. It's two different studios. They did not get together and say, oh, let's try and market these two very different movies together. This happened online. People thought it was a good idea, and they went for it. And as we see, sitting here on the other end of the weekend, it worked.
And it's happening at a time when writers and actors are out on strike. But I want to shift this to the fact that there were some technical issues for some Oppenheimer fans when they went to go see the IMAX 70 millimeter. What is the appeal about this particular kind of screen, and why does it have people flocking to them and paying a little bit more money to go see the movies on this particular screen?
Well, particularly Christopher Nolan is a particular fan of 70 mil and of IMAX. He is often, if he hasn't shot the entire film, he's shot parts of his movies in IMAX. He likes the larger picture. He likes the greater definition that you get. There's a deeper depth of field. The picture is just more cinematic. And so he has been extolling this for years. So when Oppenheimer came out, he was very aware that he wanted it, or very vocal about wanting it to play in IMAX theaters. And in fact, in a number of cities, when he was around touring and promoting the movie, he went to the IMAX theaters, had them run the film, and then sat in every single seat in the house and released his thoughts on where the best place to sit in a lot of these theaters were, just to get the most immersive, overwhelming picture that you could possibly find. So that's the appeal. Bigger, louder. The picture is just more crisp. Imagine it's kind of like watching a movie on your 19-inch black and white television versus a state-of-the-art smart television.
And Rich, while I have your ears, I mean, earlier we heard from Cameron Bailey. We were talking, obviously we're following what's happening in Hollywood with the strike and with the actors and the writers, but also how TIFF is kind of planning in the event that some of these big-name actors aren't going to come here. What's your take on the situation? How do you think this whole thing might impact TIFF?
I don't think that the strike will be over by the time TIFF happens. The two sides, the writers and the actors, and then the producers and the studios and the streamers, are so far apart on the demands that the writers and actors have right now that I don't see any resolution happening anytime soon. Some of the studios are looking at moving some of their movies from later into the year, from November, December, into next year, because they're afraid that the actors who are on strike will not be available to promote them. And that's a key part of any kind of marketing strategy. So as for TIFF, They released a statement last week saying that 70% of their movies are international, so that means only 30% would be affected by the strike. But still, it means that we won't see George Clooney walking down the red carpet. But I imagine that there will be plenty of action still at TIFF this year. I mean, there's directors, there's all sorts of other people that can get out and walk down the red carpets. And Toronto is such a film city, people will be excited to see them.
Or watching the drama play off the silver screen, that's for sure.
That's right.
Richard Krause, we appreciate your time. Thank you.